Thanks for tuning in. Before we get started, I'm going to show you what's on my wrist. It's this Tondorio Flieger, because if you tuned into my last video, I showed you what was on my wrist and what I'll be reviewing today. So that'll give you a little bit of foreshadowing as to what I am going to review next. So, simple box. What we have here is... Oh, look at that. It's all in Chinese. So, as with all instruction manuals, I'm not going to read it because I don't know what it says and I can't be bothered to translate it, which is a-okay. Let's put that off to the side. Now, this was wrapped in some type of bubble, which have since removed because you don't need to see that. The watch itself was wrapped in plastic, which I've since removed because you don't need to see that. So this is the Aesop Tourbillon, and I bought this because I've always wanted a proper tourbillon, and I tried to replicate it with the open hearts that a lot of manufacturers or a lot of companies make, but it just didn't scratch it. So you'll see that movement. That this is essentially art on your wrist. Yeah. It never gets old looking at that. Now with the discounts and coupons available during the 11/11 sale, which I bought in 2024, the price is brought to a level that I could live with. I won't mention it here, but if you look in the description below, there'll be a link to the store that I bought it from. It's not an affiliate link, so feel free to take advantage of the pricing that they have. I also have the link to Aesop's official store on AliExpress if you want to go that route. Now, I bought this on November 14th, 2024, and it arrived here in Canada's capital on the 26th. That's pretty good transit time. The box that it comes in is a really nice leatherette style box with this nice pillow, as you saw, and I removed 3 links to fit my 7-inch wrist. It's an Aesop, A-E-S-O-P. The model is a 7049G, and it's interesting to note, you'll notice the movement. This is a 7049. There's also 7025, which has a different style of cage. So it's a tourbillon hand wind, and the winding action is buttery smooth. Like, it makes no noise whatsoever. It's got a 50-hour power reserve, and when you hand wind it, it gets to a point where there's a resistance and it won't let you wind anymore. So that's comfortable knowing that, okay, I've wound it as much as I need to. The beat rate is 21,600 hertz per hour. The case is 316L stainless steel. The case diameter, and I measured this with my calipers off camera because I didn't want to. I'm pretty klutzy when it comes to trying to handle the calipers and stay in frame and everything. So the case diameter is 42 millimeters. The bezel diameter is 40 millimeters, and you'll notice like there's a step and a graduation, so it transitions very nicely. The dial diameter, so the actual dial within the bezel, is 35 millimeters. The Lug To Lug is 46 millimeters, but the case length is 49. We've got a thickness of 12.5 millimeters. The lug width is 22 millimeters, so if you want to do some strap swaps, you can. This actually ships on, you've got your choice of this bracelet, which I chose, or leather straps, and history has shown us that straps coming out of Chinese watches on AliExpress are pretty much garbage, so I thought at least the bracelet would offer some longevity since I ended up changing the strap anyway. Now it's 22 millimeter lug width, but it tapers down to 20 millimeters, and the butterfly clasp is surprisingly comfortable. There's no micro adjust. It uses push pins on the links. Everything is polished to a pretty nice standard. There's no micro adjust, and there's the A branding there. I don't know if the light can pick it up or not, but it's etched in there, laser engraved. A nice touch. The glass is sapphire, and in fact the glass on the back as well is also sapphire. And we've got some nice markings and some engravings as to what it tells us, which is, you know, 5 bar 50 meter water resistant and sapphire glass. There is some lume on the hands, and the hands are very, very elegantly shaped, and they're polished, as well as the indices are applied and polished with double batons at the 12 o'clock and singles everywhere else. The weight of this is 159 grams with the links that I've removed. So as you see it, it's 159 grams. Less if you take more links out, more if you keep them in for larger size wrists. The dial itself has what's called an Aventurine dial. So it's got flecks in it that pick up the light and sparkle. I'm not sure if it's enamel or not. You'll notice also as I'm turning this, there's no, I doubt very much there's an AR coating on that sapphire crystal. But the dial itself has a starry sky in the solar system. So it's definitely, you can definitely say it's a piece of art on your wrist. And beyond looking at that tourbillon, it never gets old looking at it. The hands themselves do have some lume on it. I'm not going to bother doing a lume shot or elapsed time because that's not what this is about. This is about putting it on your wrist for a special occasion, or if you want something, if you know you're going to be looking at your wrist often enough, you want something that's interesting to look at. If you're bored and waiting in a doctor's office waiting room and you can read this, it's probably more interesting than any magazines that they have on their tables or anything that's in the World Wide Web on your phone screen. So that's pretty much it. Onion style push-pull crown, and as I mentioned, the winding is buttery smooth. Even setting the time, it's very, very, you don't need to turn it a lot to get the proper time. The feel it's nice and solid. Everything is polished. The only brushing on them is some of the center links or the center link is brushed, but everything else is polished. And there's no flaws that I can see anywhere. Even the back case has embossing of the writing. Stainless steel, water resistant, tourbillon mechanical. Yeah. At the price that I got it for, again, I got it because the price was that good, and it was palatable, and I'm glad I did because it ticks a box off of. I think everybody should have a tourbillon in their collection, especially when it's this nicely finished and something for dress occasions that's different from the norm. Highly recommended. Again, that's what's coming up next. Thanks for tuning in, and have yourself a great day.